Hello, welcome to another video, or welcome for the first time to one of my videos. My name is Jessie, and today I'm going to be doing a flip through of my creative journal for the months of February and March. The way that I have been journaling in here, it's kind of a mix of like a junk journal, an art journal, some memory keeping. I have a video that I'll link to that like explains the evolution of how I got to where I'm at in here, which you can watch and then come back and watch this one, or watch this one and then go watch that one if you want, if you care. It's fine if you don't. But if you are looking for ideas and inspo for your own creative journaling, stick around and see if there's anything in here that sparks something for you. Okay, February. February was a very pink month, inspired by Valentine's Day, of course. I had just gotten these floral stickers from Michael's and I just thought they were so pretty, so I put them in here. And I also really liked these cut out bubble letters that I did. That was a fun touch. Back in February, I was still using my monthly spreads to track like steps and my workouts, which I was doing yoga in February, so I would mark down when I did those things. Yeah. And I was also tracking my mental health, like when I was having bad mental health days. This page is not very exciting, but after having just a very mild and pretty warm winter, we finally got a proper snow. So I just documented that here. And then on this page, while I was playing outside with Journey this morning, I heard a woodpecker, and I kind of love the birds. I just think they're so cool. And where I grew up in Eastern Washington, we didn't have woodpeckers. At least I never saw one in my life. So I always get really excited when I see a woodpecker here. So I heard it tapping on a tree and I tracked it down and found it. And it was a downy woodpecker, I think, according to my Google search. So I just drew a little picture of it and stuck it in here. And I did draw this on my iPad, which this is what prompted me to start playing with colored pencils, which you'll see more of the further we get into this. But at the time I was not really working with any physical medium, so I sketched it out on my iPad and printed it out. This is a fun page. During our walk, this little dog was out on the road, and we see this little dog often on our walks. He is sometimes out on the road. He doesn't usually follow us. He usually just like sticks around his house. But this day, I don't know, he was like, I'm coming with you guys. I don't know where you're going, but I'm coming with you. And I could not get rid of him. He followed us all the way back to our house, which was, I don't know how far, maybe a mile. And I kept trying to get him to go back home, but he didn't want to. So he was honestly making my life very difficult because I had Journey on a leash and he was not on a leash. And so if you have a dog, you know how that goes. But he was a very nice little dog. And when we got back to our house, he was just hanging out on the deck, and I didn't know if he would be able to find his way back home. So I put him in the car and I drove him back to where I found him. Anyway, very cute little dog, very sweet, but a little troublemaker for sure. This was one of those days where I just wanted to fill a page and I didn't really have anything that I wanted to write about, or nothing really happened. So I just went through my little paper scraps and started gluing them in and a little collage, and then I went through my sticker books and found the motivational, inspirational sayings and cut them up. And I cut them up to be like less positive. I don't know, maybe I wasn't in a very good mood this day, but I think it turned out fun. It's just really odd and it doesn't make any sense, but it looks fun. I like the way it looks. And sometimes it just feels good to tear up paper and glue it down and stick random things on here. This says music is medicine. And this is just like a little reminder to myself. I will sometimes just get into really down moods, or even if I just have a day where I have like really bad brain fog and I'm not feeling in my body. I'm feeling like dissociated, kind of disconnected from myself and from just like I can't engage with my environment, or I don't know, sometimes it's just like a struggle to even speak or like focus my eyes on anything. Dysregulated. Dysregulated is the word that I'm looking for, I believe. When I'm feeling that way, I never want to listen to music, but I always realize that I also, like, I have not been listening to music. And so I will just force myself to turn some on. And like, I feel such resistance to it. It's weird. But I know that if I just go to my liked playlist, or I can always turn on any Taylor Swift. My go-to is Evermore. I've realized if I start with Evermore, it will lead me to like other music if that's not the vibe for the day. But anyway, the point is, it doesn't matter. As long as I just turn on some music, it just like reconnects my brain to my body, and it just makes me feel better. It makes me feel alive again. It makes me feel human again. And I forget, like sometimes I just forget that. This was a book that I read, What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I'm a big T. Kingfisher fan, or I'm becoming one anyways. I've read a few of her books now, and I've just really enjoyed all of them. They're horror, but they're not really. Like they are, but I find them comforting. Like the characters that she writes and the settings are always, even though they're creepy, or supposed to be creepy, I just find them very cozy. It's always like an old, dusty old house or whatever. Anyway, so this one was a fungus horror. And I had cut this mushroom illustration out of a newspaper, and I'd been keeping it for several months, knowing I just thought it was kind of cool, and I knew that I would be able to use it eventually for something, and this book ended up being the perfect thing. These pages covered a whole week that I had spent with my sister's kids. Both my parents and I went to their house and stayed with them while my sister and her husband went on a trip. So we spent the week there and made sure they got to school and to all their sports and stuff. And it was Valentine's week, so they were doing their Valentine's cards and working on their little Valentine's boxes and stuff. Yeah, it was a really good, fun time, and I was really grateful to have the time to spend with them like that and get to see their sports and see them with their little friends and everything. They're just growing up, and I don't get to see them very often, so it was really good. Very good quality time. Oh, I was just really going through it at this time with my art. I was having kind of a creative crisis, I guess. I don't want to make art that sells. I want to make art that says, art that soothes, art that smiles. I guess I've just been feeling really uninspired and disconnected from the art that I've been making for my business, and I've just been wanting to expand and push my creativity to different places and just try new things, work with new materials, try different styles, try to make art that has more of a point of view. And I'm going to get into this. I'm going to get into this in a lot more depth in other videos that are coming up, so I won't say too much about it, but this is kind of the start of something new for me, which is cool. I'm excited about it. I think this was the first day that I used watercolors in here. Yeah, so I had just been feeling like I wanted to try working with some different mediums, and so I went through my little craft stash and found watercolors, and I just wanted to make something bright and colorful. And I also had these little like friendship bracelet beads, and so I was experimenting with different ways to make type and lettering. And this says I don't know what I'm doing and I like it, which is interesting because, as you will see coming up, I don't really like not knowing what I'm doing. But this day, I guess I was just having fun, so yeah. This day, one of my husband's coworkers sent home some tamales with him that he and his family had made, and they were so good. I love tamales. This day we went to Dairy Queen, which we often do because we don't have a lot of like good fast food options, and Dairy Queen is good anyways. they have good food and they have ice cream. And I don't know if their takeout bags have always had this cute little pattern on them or if I'm just noticing it now because I'm paying attention to my garbage more, but I thought this was cute and I cut it out and put it in here. And I did not get a swirly ice cream cone, but I had drawn this that same day and I thought it was fitting and I liked how it turned out. So I printed that out and stuck it in here. I don't know if it's just me or if this poem is having a moment, but I keep seeing it everywhere. And this was back in February and I'm still seeing it everywhere now that it's April. But I was just going through my YouTube feed, like the suggested videos feed, and there was one that really caught my attention. It was beautiful. I can't remember whose video it was. I think maybe an artist named Kimberly Rodriguez. I think that's who it was. But the footage that was playing was just really beautiful. And then she was reading this poem, which I never heard. I hadn't heard the poem before, but she was reading this poem and I stopped and listened to it. And I just thought it was very moving and it made me a little teary-eyed. Anyway, it's called Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. And I felt very inspired by it. So I made a little page for it. This is a good tip. I went on to, I can't remember which website I found this on, but if you are ever looking for art that you can use in your journal, if you search public domain art, there's like museums and libraries that have archives of artwork that you can use for free for whatever you want to. So I searched like spring public domain art and found this painting to use as the background. And then just lettered out. Meanwhile, the world goes on, and drew some little geese. I just think that one turned out really pretty. Since I was gone for Valentine's Day, Lauren and I had a belated little date. We went out for brunch. The place that we wanted to go was an hour wait. So we were like, yeah, we're not gonna stand in the rain. We ended up just like going to this kind of divey diner, and it was really good, and it was a very eclectic atmosphere. I liked that they served the coffee in these super random mugs. This one is State Farm. So whatever, it was fun. And then we went to the bookstore. Just a nice little Sunday. I also read this book over this weekend, and it's not one that I bought at the bookstore. And I didn't feel like it deserved its own page because I did not like it very much. And I do like Blake Crouch. I was a little bamboozled because I thought that this was a brand new book. I saw it recommended somewhere. And I thought that it said that it was a brand new book by him. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know he wrote a new book. Because I've read a lot of his books. He's a good sci-fi author, but this book was not like his other books, and I didn't realize until I finished it that he actually published it. It was like self-published a long time ago. And that's why it's so different than his like newer books. But anyway, it was just so violent and I don't know, I didn't like it very much. Whatever. This was the day that I tried avocado toast for the first time and I quite liked it. But this is also where I started messing around with colored pencils because I wanted to draw my avocado toast. And I didn't want to, and like, I don't want to have to draw on my iPad every time I want to draw something in here. So I thought colored pencils might be a thing that worked in here, but I actually drew this on a separate piece of paper and then cut it out and put it in here. I like how the bread turned out. I think the bread turned out quite nicely and whatever. It's cute. I think it's cute and fun, and I have been experimenting more with colored pencils since this because I thought it was really fun. So this page I'm not going to talk about, but it was something that I wanted to put in here because I just couldn't stop thinking about it. But I like these two pages being right next to each other because like this is just a really good example of the, I don't know what the word is, duality. Is it duality of life? Where like there's just always something. There's always something bad and scary and upsetting happening in the world that takes our attention, that deserves our attention. And at the same time, there's always the avocado toast, you know, there's always like small moments of joy and fun and just like mundane life that needs to go on even when things around us feel like they're just falling apart or whatever. Yeah, so I like the juxtaposition of these two pages together. This page is a very good representation of my brain when I've had too much internet. Just like massive overstimulation, little emojis. And I cut this out of like a Nat Geo Kids magazine that was left at my house. This was one of my best friends from my hometown turned 40. So we made a trip up there for her birthday party, and that was really fun. See all my friends from back home that I don't get to see very often at all, and just celebrate. And then we come to March. I really like how this spread turned out. I think it's really fun and weird. I didn't write anything. I wasn't tracking anything. I don't really know what to do with these calendar pages at this point. They have kind of just become dividers or like cover pages for the month, but I just like making them though. It's just an excuse to have fun and be creative. Oh, the 10th. Wow, I skipped a lot. I skipped the whole first week of March. That's okay. We're not going for perfection here ever. I'm sure this report thing has been a trend on TikTok for years and I just don't know about it until now, but I can't remember. I was listening to a podcast or something where somebody was talking about this, and I just thought that would be a fun little thing to put in here. So it's like reading, eating, playing, obsessed with, recommending, and treating, which is like a lot of things, and some of them are open to interpretation, I feel. But at this time, I was reading Rouge by Mona Awad. I was eating broccoli salad, playing Sudoku. I was obsessed with spring vibes because we had a couple very nice days, which have left us once again. Winter is back, but this week it was pretty warm. What is this one? Recommending. Oh, I was recommending to have some daily creative playtime. Recommending to myself. And then my treat was treating. I don't know if treating is like you're treating an ailment or treating yourself. I took it as treating myself, and I was enjoying lemon Kit Kats. If you've never tried the lemon Kit Kats and you like a lemony sweet treat, I recommend those. This page says, today's goals, stop saying I don't know. This is a really bad habit that I have, and this does not apply, like there's plenty of situations where it's a good thing to admit that you don't know something, but I'm just talking about like creative, things that require creative thinking, problem solving, decision making. I often just feel very overwhelmed. Like for example, our yard, we have no landscaping, and I will go out there, like there's so many weeds and empty space, and I just go stand out there, look at it, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what to do out here, and basically just throw my hands in the air and walk away, and then nothing ever gets done. And I do this a lot. Like I will just walk around throughout my day just saying like, I don't know what to do. It shuts me down. It shuts down my thinking. So instead of saying I don't know, I'm trying to catch myself and switch it to like a question and invite some curiosity about whatever it is. I'll try to be like, what can I do here? What am I going to do here? How am I going to get this started? What do I need to learn to get started on this? How can I make this easy? What's one small thing that I could do to get the ball rolling? You know, just invite some creative thinking and problem solving and like ideas. Just open my brain to ideas instead of just shutting myself down. So that's what that is. I took Journey to a park that we've never been to. It's just nice to get a change of scenery once in a while, and it was nice. We had a nice walk, and I call them adventure days whenever we go out exploring. This park is on the Crooked River, and so this is a bridge that goes across it. And I just love a bridge. I just love a bridge. That's a thing about me. Any place that has a cute little bridge, I'm there. Okay, so this was another page where I just didn't have anything to say and wanted to fill a page. I got this idea from watching, her name's Amy, y'all. She inspires me so much. Basically everything that I'm doing in here is inspired by her. Even the way that I'm recording this video is inspired by her. I will link to her. You probably already know who she is, but I just really love the way she does her journal. I think she's so creative and so cool and fun. But she also started a podcast where she's bringing on other people who do journaling and post online. And she had a gal on there, Natasha. I think it's Natasha in your phone is who this idea came from. But in her journal, she'll just fill a page with flowers, and I'm not into really drawing flowers that much, but I do like stars. It just reminded me of being in school. At whatever grade you start taking notes, I think in junior high maybe it started. But through junior high, high school, through college, I would just doodle all over my note paper. And so I was trying to remember what kinds of things that I would doodle, and stars was one of them. I would fill like my entire margin with stars. And I'm just trying to get back into doing stuff like that. Just doodling mindlessly, doodling while I'm watching TV or listening to a podcast or whatever. So I think I was actually watching Amy Y'all's podcast while I was making this page. This is another book page. I finished Rouge by Mona Awad, and I loved it. I just love her. I'm not sure how many books she's published, but I've only read 2 of them, but Bunny is the other one. I just love a weird woman's descent into madness, like fever dream type of story where you're not really sure what is going on. It's disorienting, but the imagery is so striking and vibrant and rich, and you get really just sucked into it. Immersive. Immersive is the word that I'm looking for there. It's immersive because you're just like, what? You're in this character's head with them. Like they have no idea what's going on, and you also have no idea what's going on. I don't know. I just love that type of book. I give it 4 stars. I didn't like it as much as Bunny, but it was a good one. This was a weekend page, and this is not my picture, but we were driving home from town, and we saw a starling murmuration, and I've never seen one in person, but I see birds again. I just think birds are really neat. And starlings, I think this thing that they do in the sky is so freaking cool, and I was excited to see it because I've never seen it before. Anyway, so I tried to draw a starling with colored pencils. It was very difficult. They look like they're just a black bird, but up close, they have so many different colors in their feathers. And then they also have like gold, and I tried to make that with a sparkly gold marker, and whatever, he's kind of cute. Yeah, because I'm trying something new in working with the colored pencils, something that I've never done before. Whenever I try something new, for whatever reason, I just expect myself to be perfect at it immediately. And you can't be when you're doing something you've never done before. But I get really frustrated, which is silly. And I'm working really hard on getting over that, because you have to be bad at stuff on your way to being good at it. So anyway, I was just feeling frustrated this day. But I've also been feeling really inspired to get back into hand lettering, which is something that I used to really enjoy doing. I guess I've just been trying to do things that I used to think were fun, and I've kind of just gotten away from. So I got out my hand lettered typography books and was just flipping through them for inspiration, and I lettered this page. Also, these little things, I have this book of it's like, those refrigerator magnets where you're supposed to make little poetry. And I know that the point is to like just look through there and make random phrases or whatever, but I'm always going there looking for specific words and I can never find them, so I made my own. This is just some more lettering that I wanted to do. I spent quite a bit of time on this. I got my paint out even. This is from Bo Burnham's Inside Netflix special. I don't know, you've probably seen it, but he made it during the pandemic, and it's just still one of my favorite things that exists in the world of media, and I wish that it would stop being so relatable. But there's just some days when I'm feeling a certain type of way and I turn that on and listen to it and it feels cathartic or something. It's another one of those things that's immersive. I love an immersive experience with my media. I'm just all about that. This day, I took myself on a little local shopping adventure. I went to the bookstore and I didn't realize that my town has an art supply store. So once I found that out, I was like, I gotta go check that out. So I went and I bought these Posca pens, which you'll see more of in the next few pages. And I bought Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. And I'm currently working my way through it. It's a long one, but it's really good. And then I just wanted to have a physical copy of Bunny because I read it on my Kindle and I wanted it as a trophy on my bookshelf, I guess. And I just want to be able to flip through it to find the passages that I really liked and stuff. This was like a weekend recap page where not much happened, but I spent a lot of time reading and napping and playing Frisbee outside because that was one of those nice weekends. Oh, this day, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I put in my journal is from my morning walks, but this was wild. As soon as I got outside, I kept seeing like these puffs of what I thought were car exhaust or smoke or something, but I realized it was pollen coming off the trees. I've never seen that before. It was just every tree. You could just see the wind blowing through it, or maybe it wasn't even the wind. It's just, maybe that's just something that trees do, is like poof out their pollen. I don't know. It was a lot, and it just made me feel like my allergies were going to start flaring up. So I just painted this little tree. Painted this little tree with watercolors. Just messing around, having a good time. There was a couple days where it was like in the 70s, and it was so nice. And I just love having the windows open. It feels so good to be inside with the windows open. Like, I love being outside, obviously, but the way that the house feels when we have the windows open and fresh air's coming in, and like at night when you can hear the frogs, I just want it to be warm. It snowed this morning. The morning that I'm recording this video, it snowed. So it's like, come on, spring, you can do it. I like this little frog that I drew with the colored pencils. And honestly, I didn't like it that much until I outlined it with black. So that's a tip. If you're not like the best drawer, if you don't like what you've drawn, try outlining it in black. I think that just adds a little something extra and makes it look better. Oh, this looks bad too, but we've been watching Severance and that show is so freaking good. This is a brain. If you can't tell, it's a brain in the elevator. We started it season 2. I know like season 2 just wrapped up. So we started season 1 so we could watch season 1 and season 2 together. And we have like 2 episodes left of season 2. So by the time this video comes out, we'll be done with it. But I just want to know what's going on down there so bad. Like, what are they doing? I want to know what they're doing. This was just a little weekend recap again. Nothing super cool happened. But there was a really great rainbow, and this is not a very good picture of it, but it was like such a vibrant rainbow, and it was a double rainbow. It's a double rainbow. Is this the last page? Yes. Okay, this was my last spread for March, and I didn't even finish it. Or maybe I did. I'm not really sure. I was listening to a podcast, I think, and I wanted to fill these pages up. So I was just putting paint down. I don't know. I did some watercolors, I did some Posca markers, and then I was gonna like cut stuff out and glue it on here, and I started doing that, but then I never came back and finished it, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. This is really ugly, and I also really like it because it's just colorful and it's just playful. It's just playful. That's, yeah. You don't always have to write something, I guess. If you don't have something to write, you can just scribble or make paint splotches or whatever. And it feels good and it's fun. So that is that. And now all my batteries are gonna die probably, so I need to wrap this up. Okay, well, thank you for watching this video. This type of like extemporaneous video where I don't know what I'm gonna say and I'm just kind of like, I'm just making it up as they go along is very, very difficult for me to do. So I appreciate you sticking with me if you've made it this far. And I'm just gonna keep practicing, and I plan to do this every month, so hopefully it gets better. And hopefully I will see you next time. Bye.